full disclosure, we are cousin. Yeah, my snow. I remember last year, or a couple years ago, when I was still in Illinois, going up. There was a couple spots where there was a semi truck just completely stopped trying to get up a hill in this kind of weather, and there was no use trying because he was a full trailer. There was no use in trying to pull him out. It was just he's gonna sit there and wait until it melts.
And they'll wait till they get a crane, lift him out piece by piece, literally.
Yeah. So that sucked. It was a good thing he was out of my way by the time that he managed to get himself stopped.
Well, one car rethought their lane decision.
Yeah.
They thought, this other lane looks better. Maybe I'll
It
fucking
certainly
drive
is
here.
not. It is absolutely no better over there. So, what do you figure? Should we introduce the subject of our musings?
Yeah, dumbass people trying to drive in snow.
That's true. For me, my story's a lot simpler and easier because I've only had a few jobs. When I was in Texas, I did a lot of shop hand stuff, a lot of stuff working around shops, doing welding, and eventually I got into the pipe industry because it's big business down there. If you don't want to work in the oil field and you still want an industrial job, one of the things you can do is work at one of the multiple plastic pipe manufacturing places or steel pipe. And I did plastic pipe, which is extruding. High volume, high pressure polyethylene pipe, stuff that can handle, 60,000 wall PSI and stuff like that. It's just ridiculous. Lots of big extruders, the size of some of these cars out here. They're 400 degrees all the time. And then I moved up to Iowa for some reason because I had the opportunity to get a job as a machinist or as an operator, and then possibly work my way up to machinist.
Yeah, start as a button pusher.
Start as a button pusher.
Even though you only did that for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I was only a button pusher for. Yeah, I was only a button pusher for about 2 weeks, and then the old man started like, "Hey, start changing jaws and doing all this crap." So it didn't take very long. I picked up fairly quick. Changing jaws, writing programs, learning to read prints fairly easily.
So, nothing against you, but that does show how easy it is.
Oh yeah, it's not an incredibly difficult profession on the outside, like the simple stuff like how do I change and bore jaws,
or just digging through the program for maybe what type of drill would you need?
Yeah.
2-inch drill, or you end milling a whole thing or something.
Yeah.
Simple shit.
It's like, I say machining, I've said it before, machining's like 20, maybe 30 really big things that you have to do to make a decent part, and then like 600 little things that are going to kick your ass every single time if you forget about them. They will plow trucks.
Speaking of kick our ass, there's a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I would totally agree. And machining, you've said it too. Machining is a craftsman position. If you don't take the job, you don't treat your job as a craftsmanship, and you don't care enough to make proper parts and really take pride in what you do.
No one's going to really want your parts.
Huh?
No one's really going to want your parts, if you ask me.
I don't know how well you would do as a business, let alone as even a button pusher.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't care enough, then it's going to show.
Yeah, and that's one of the other things is you may as well actually bother to care. That's the thing I've told people before. You may as well bother to care because you're here 8, 10, 12 hours a day, and this is what you're doing to make money. So you may as well put in that little bit of, I don't know, not necessarily effort, but like care in making something that you should be proud of, because you're spending your life doing it. Every hour that you spend in a shop, whether it's a garage or anything else, if you're changing out oil for somebody in a little garage, that's fine. Every hour that you're doing, that's your life. You may as well do it with some pride because it's you. And if you can't have pride in yourself, then why bother doing it?
I started out at a grocery store here in town, one that you don't go to, but you know fairly well. But
very convincing pan that we drove right past one of the local grocery stores.
Not that one, I promise. But I was working there in high school. An opportunity came up at a Ironworkers shop where they prefab all the structural steel to go up in a building, and that's how I started doing CAD work specifically, and then getting into sort of doing CNC plasma cutting and flame cutting. After a couple of years, went on to do pipe fitting, plumbing work, and stayed with that for 5-6 years, maybe more. But I was doing machining for the last 4 years in there too. When I was laid off from one, I'd be doing the other. And I just bounced back and forth, fitting to machining. And that eventually led up to meeting you.
Yep.
And both of us leaving to go to a different company up north. And I left about 2 months ago, at the time of this video. I left 2 months ago to go to a shop, to a plant, not a shop, a plant. Actually down the street from my house.
Very convenient.
Where they pay fucking $30 an hour, and they want proper machinists, they want proper parts. I don't think I make a part that has more than like 1,000 tolerance on most days. Some days I might get 3.
Yeah.
Those are pretty fucking lucky.
Yeah, I get a little bit of tolerance on locations, but usually on like diameters and stuff where I'm at currently.
Locations for us tend to be actually the tightest.
Yeah.
Most of them are...
Because it's for assembly.
Yeah, most of them are 15 to 20, but you run into one hole every part where it's like 5 thou true position.
Nice.
And 5 thou true position, if you're off 1/2 thou, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
It's done. It's not going to work. Because if you're off even 1/2 thou on the other, in your other axis, it ain't going to work.
Nope, it won't.
You'll be at 4, maybe 5. You start factoring in tenths. Gone.
Yeah.
And that's how most of my day is.
Yep. And part of being a decent machinist is being able to take that pride and be like, you know what? If it's not right, I'll make it right. And that learning to do those things and learning to do them effectively and with good quality precision and making a nice looking part is part of what gets you into jobs that pay $20, $35, $40 an hour sometimes. Because if you're a button pusher at a shop making $15 an hour, it doesn't mean you can't actually do those things. You just have to work your way up. Sometimes it takes 5 years, sometimes it takes 15.
It took us 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
That also goes for the shop owners too. For the shop owners, businessmen and women. If you don't have people that take pride in their work because you don't care, nothing they do is ever going to matter. No one's going to want to deal with you or your company. Or if you do care but your people don't, then no one's still going to want to deal with you because what they see is what you send them. They don't see what you're trying to do. They see what they receive from you.
Mm-hmm.
So try to teach your people, encourage your workers, encourage your co-workers to hold themselves to a higher standard.
And I can feel it. I can feel it coming on. I can feel a comment about to pop in right now where it says, well, if you paid people more, they'd want to care more, which I agree, that is true. But however, I'm not going to start paying someone $25 an hour if I don't know that they don't care.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
And I can actually agree with that. If you go into a shop saying that you can do this, you know this, I'm going to put you to a test. Mm-hmm. And it's not going to be very fun.
But put a little bit of it in perspective. My older brother, one of my older brothers, I have 3, he is getting his engineering degree this next year.
2022?
2022, October. He is finally going to have his proper engineering degree. He's 35. He's 10 years older than me. 36. He's been going to school on and off for years and years and years, and he works for a very large company in the United States that makes very specific parts, and he does acquisitions. He only learned how to read a print this last year. So he and I were talking about like print reading and designing of parts this last weekend, and I didn't realize that he didn't know how to read a print until this last year. So that puts it into perspective for you that there's people out there that are in positions way higher than you and me that don't know how to read a print. If you can read a print and you can at least read some G code, you can almost always get yourself a pretty decent job. And it's not hard to learn how to read a print. You can get yourself a machinist handbook, probably 15, like a couple generations old, that is like 15, 20 bucks, and you can teach yourself to do these things. And you can go look up prints online and learn these things, because that is an incredibly valuable skill.
And I'm going to tie into that note. The reason we started all this channel work is we want to help encourage people to learn. I don't care how you learn. I don't care who teaches you, but be open to learn, and hopefully people are there to help you. So if you have something that you want to share with us, or you want us to check out, or review something, let us know. But we're trying to help everybody. We're not just trying to be cocky about what we do or don't know.
Yeah, I agree. We're always one of those things that has gotten me to my position and being able to pay my bills reliably and not have to worry about, oh shit, am I gonna be sleeping on my buddy's couch this next weekend, is the fact that I am open to learning. If you can't learn new things, you're definitely not going to make it in the machining world. You're not going to make it in manufacturing in general, because something else happens every month, maybe even a year, where you have to go into depth and start learning something on how to make a different part with different tools and stuff like that. And it is challenging, but if you can't learn something and you can't be open to learning something, then you're definitely not going to make it.
Well, and you also have to be open to teaching. If you and me do know something, we should not be those knowledge hogs and keep it to ourselves.
Yeah.
Slip it a little
bit.
And that's something that you and me did run into quite a bit. We did run into that at the first shop we worked at. It's why we left.
Mm-hmm.
Because there were a couple of guys who did know more than us. That's not arguable. That's nothing arguable. They know more. But they didn't want to share.
No.
And actually, they both said at one point, in one way or another, they both said they'll teach us someday. Well, 4 years down the line.
They're not teaching us anything, and we're actually showing them that we know something. And the frustration is that we were second shift and they were first shift, and they kind of throw us to the wolves.
Yeah.
And if we don't know what the heck we're supposed to do, and it's time for them to clock out, and they don't want to bother to at least give us some guidance on how to do a specific thing, then we're gonna fail.
And to that note, the reason we were on our own is our foreman who started teaching us, he had left. So we really were on our own too. You were on your own before me.
Oh yeah.
For at least 6 months, maybe
6
more.
months. 6 months it was me and one other guy that was second shift.
Yeah. And then I'd come back off and on here and there. I stuck around for 1 year. This last year, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
2020, I think.
Yeah.
I stuck around for 2020, up halfway through 2021, and then we both left. We had no one there to help us, so a lot of what we do know, we actually taught each other. We learned together at the same time. Hey, check this out, try this, or look at this, or hey, look, nose radius does make a difference, or mean speed, boring bar, chatter.
Yep. And
everything we know.
learning a lot of stuff from you people online, you commenters, and people who also post videos, you A-bombs and you Tonys out there, out there showing some of the newer generation something new. And I guess part of the point of this video is that we are not currently, we have had a few comments about, hey, can you show us some like more of the smooth G control
Yep.
and stuff like that. And
Smooth G, Smooth X, and the new Smooth AI.
those are really cool controllers, but only one of us has access to actually using one and absolutely cannot film them. And I don't have access to either of those because currently I'm at a shop where all I have is G-code. So if you do want to learn some G-code, you can certainly comment on this and maybe I'll come in on a Saturday and make an hour video about the basics of G-code, or maybe some more in-depth stuff like radii and you know, dealing with backlash and weird stuff like that.
Fucking subspindle.
Yeah, subspindle backlash.
You showed me that the one time and I couldn't believe it.
It sucks. We had a. I'll lean into it. Come on,
Let's
buddy.
get over.
Come on, guy.
Come on, Chrysler, let's go. Well, in case you're wondering, yes, I have all-wheel drive.
Yeah,
I have a $60,000 car. I better be able to drive in this.
yeah. It drives pretty well, honestly. This new technology, I can't say I hate it because it's pretty cool.
I don't
This
know.
guy's certainly not liking it.
I don't think he realizes that the road ends where he's at.
Yeah,
This is gonna be real fucking exciting. I'm glad we're recording this. Oh, damn it, he got
get on
over.
the curb. Come on.
Oh, damn it, he had to get over.
Yeah, that was gonna be fun.
I'll edit that out.
No, there's a we have a job where we do a subspindle pull and then we drill locations between the both spindles. So what I'll do, and we'll drill holes and the locations are plus or minus like 2 thou, and some of the trouble with that is that the subspindle has backlash in it. So what I'll do is I'll actually purposefully program it to overshoot the end of the part and then feed back about 100 thou, then grab the part and then pull it out. That way all the backlash is out of it, and you can most of the time will hold that plus or minus 2 unless you got some goofy stuff going on with your jaws or your main spindle is not quite out or is not quite in.
There's your free Bono lesson.
Yeah.
That'll be a free note. If you want more tips and tricks like that, you know, let us know.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Mazak controller is currently difficult to do. I have been trying to talk with our previous shop, but right now they're not busy enough to really need any help.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not able to cut a deal at the moment. But I guess this is the end of the video. We're pulling back home, sort of.
Home.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Everybody take care.
Take care. Leave a comment if you're interested in certain things that we can do independently, and maybe we'll have some more of these drive around in the snow conversations and talk about subspindles and G-code. So until then, later, taters.